I know that we can have so much fun together, but I think we should talk about some things. Maybe having an idea about politics and like what we think about some controversial things. Like I think that's really important.
I agree.
I grew up in a conservative household. But yeah, like I really didn't get into politics, or like I didn't get interested until Trump took office and George Floyd.
I'm like kind of ignorant towards that stuff. Like I didn't vote in the last election. Like as long as I don't know, it's not gonna, do much, so.
That is so annoying.
I'm sorry.
So George Floyd, that obviously hit home because George Floyd happened in Minneapolis. What are your thoughts on Black Lives Matter?
Like I'm not one way or another. I just kind of keep out of it.
I think it's very valuable and important to think about those things. And knowing you, it's not like you're actively like racist, but I personally believe what happened to George Floyd and everything else that happened, I don't think that's right at all.
Yeah.
What's so important is to speak up for things that are happening around us, right? Like our voice really does matter.
Yeah. I've just kind of been staying out of it.
I don't like those answers, to be honest. But it's okay, and I'm glad you're honest.
Yes.
I don't want you to lie, but I think it is so easy for us to not have an opinion.
Do you know if you would be able to like marry someone like they're not right next to you, like fully believing everything that you do at this point?
I love to learn about other viewpoints as long as there's like a discussion. But I will tell you, basic human rights, equality. I need someone to be on the same page with me about that. I feel like that speaks volume about who you are as a person and morals and values and, how you think of others.
Yeah, and I do think my beliefs lie more towards like what you're saying and how you believe because it's makes sense to me. And I
think the best way to look into how I do that is through my actions.
I just don't really know how to intelligently talk about it.
I like what Sarah said as far as the answers that he gave, that she didn't like it. She didn't kind of sugarcoat it. She was pretty much upfront like, I don't like these answers. I didn't like them either because I thought that was a red flag on his end. So in this type of experiment and any type of relationship in general, you want to find out where you guys stand on these type of topics. Because when people say, I don't vote, and then stuff like what happened with George Floyd, how he kind of just stays out of it because that's just ignorance. I'm like, you think that doesn't apply to you? You think that doesn't involve you or your community? That made no sense to me at all. It's like, oh, if I'm not aware of it, nothing is going on. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard in my life, right? So I'm glad she kind of stood up for herself and spoke up like what she likes and what she don't like. Now, I don't understand when people say, I don't vote. But are these the same people who complain about, man, why did that person get elected? Or why is this law passed X, Y, and Z? But if you didn't vote, you have no right to complain. But the major thing for me is like, these type of tough and uncomfortable conversations need to be had. And I'm glad she was able to speak up about it. Him, I just feel he's not educated enough, or I don't know if he's not willing enough to educate himself on these situations or these topics. Or does he not have friends who are not white to kind of talk to someone about it and maybe feel, if he did have people who are friends who are not white, does he have enough rapport or comfortable enough to have these type of conversations? Because this is important, especially during that time. That was a major thing.
Ben, how do you not know things, okay? I stay in the know. Number one, I don't like talking politics with anyone, even my wife. But if we're going to talk, we're going to at least, both of us are going to have an idea of what's going on. I may not like what's going on, but I will listen to figure out, oh, this happened. I don't like this. I'm not crazy about this, but I'll be in the know, okay? I'm not going to put my head in the sand, especially if it's something I don't like. You should know. How do you not know about George Floyd? How do you escape that? That was a huge event, and it was a horrible situation. But the fact that Ben is saying that if it doesn't affect him, he really doesn't put any attention to it. I've known some people like that, okay? if something doesn't affect me, I'm not going to say that I don't put attention to it, but I want to be made aware of it, at least know about it. So I'm glad that Sara she's sticking up for the fact that he knows nothing. That's not acceptable at all. Now Jay says you have to have these uncomfortable conversations. You should know where you stand politically. Like I said, I'm not crazy about talking about it, but I'll dabble, and I'm glad that my wife and I, we're generally on the same page, so it's not going to create a ruckus. Neither one of us is going to say, oh, I don't know about that. One of us may be more informed about it, but it's not going to be like one of us has no information on it, no knowledge. You got to stay ahead. You have to know what's going on around you. And I'm not just saying in your city or in your state. Figure out what's going on around our country, around the world, because that's what's going on, man. You should know. And even if it doesn't have an effect on you, know. Especially if you have a partner that is in the know. And again, Ben's response to what do you think of Black Lives Matter? I'm glad at least he didn't say he was one of those that joined the whole White Lives Matter. Oh, that would have been brutal, okay? So I'm glad at least that happened. All right, Ben, read up on this stuff or listen to it. I think they're both kind of like casually reading or doing something. It looked like reading. So I kind of don't like that part of it. That they're talking about George Floyd in a casual way. I don't like that at all. Have some respect, okay? This is history that happened. Get your head out of your ass at this point and get a listen to what's going on around you. You really should. Just make sure your partner and you are on the same page when it comes to politics, because otherwise you're going to get stuff like this.